Joining me now on the Daily Ledger Page 5 beat from Nashville, Tennessee, economic analyst, hedge fund manager, and contributor to Forbes and other major publications, Thomas Landstreet. Thomas, there have been some doubting Thomases out there. Excuse the double entendre because you were one of them, or are one of them, I should say. But it looks as though we're at the threshold now of an agreement. China has to get one because their economy is tanking, and the president has to get one because he has this thing called the election looming.
Well, Graham, I'm going to quote the China Daily's article today that said, "Don't pop the champagne." You probably can predict where I'm going to go. To me, it reminds me of when, I was a child and mommy and daddy were yelling at each other in the kitchen. And when they finally stopped yelling, I was the youngest of five. Everybody was very happy as we entered the, breakfast room to have dinner around the table, and there was peace. But that doesn't mean mommy and daddy got along in the bedroom. So I just believe that this is all for show. I respect Mnuchin, by the way, very much. I really like that guy. I think he's a solid guy who's got us in mind, that is, the children around the table. As an investor, however, I'm just glad they've stopped screaming at each other. I have a pit in my stomach nonetheless, Graham, still. So we'll see.
All right. Well, Mnuchin, somebody, the President of the United States, the Congress is not doing this. Somebody has to address our debt, right? And we talked about this on this program ad nauseum. Well before you were even on this program, I talked about it ad nauseum on this program. The bottom line is we have a massive debt. We have a huge unfunded liability. You wrote about this in Forbes. $4.5 trillion of Treasury debt has to be refinanced this year. Another $11 trillion very, very soon. How are we going to do this if interest... Effectively, the Fed is painted into a corner here, right? If they raise rates, how do you service the debt when those rates start going up?
You're absolutely right. It's hard to get the toothpaste back in the tube, but the genie back in the bottle. This started in 08 and 09, as you know, with all the profligate spending measures and then the QE 2, 3, and 4, which actually started, by the way, in 2012. The economy was no longer in recession when Janet Yellen decided to double down and start buying bonds. So now the debt problem has moved from household balance sheets just to corporate balance sheets and federal government balance sheets. So Jay Powell's finally come around to what I've been saying and you and I have been talking about. In December, he said that rate increases were on autopilot. Then in July, we had the mid-cycle adjustment. We've had 2 cuts, and now we've literally returned to quantitative easing. I'm afraid it's the right thing to do, but just like the trade issue, I still have a pit in my stomach, Graham. Right. We've got to issue $400 billion worth of treasuries by Christmas. Who's going to buy them? Well, now we know the Federal Reserve, again, has our back.
We can't keep issuing this $1 trillion deficit every year because that's what we were facing this last fiscal year. We can't keep doing that to our children and our grandchildren. Thomas, thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.